If you are already waiting on the Social Security Administration to process your disability claim, you already know the system is broke. You know the average wait time right now is, for the initial decision that is hitting record highs at around 8 months. And that's just to get to the initial stage, the initial decision, which is most of the time no. Historically, that's just the way it's always been. What if I told you there are 2 specific fast track lanes built into the system that most people and even some lawyers don't even know about? These aren't really tricks though. They're not hacks. They're just they're legal shortcuts designed for people who can't afford to wait years for a judge. So see if you may fall into this category. Today we're going to look at the Compassionate Allowances program and the dire need request. If you qualify for either of these, you can move your file bottom of the pile to the very top. Yes, you heard that right. I'm going to show you exactly how to trigger these shortcuts today. So the Social Security system has a list of over 250 conditions that are so severe they automatically meet the medical condition of a disability. All right, the secret list. It's called the Compassionate Allowances list. If your diagnosis is on the list, the Social Security Administration is required by their own rules to fast track the claim. So they made these rules. It's their own. They will fast track you if you're on this list, or if your conditions are on this list. Some people get approved in weeks rather than years. The common mistake: don't assume the claims adjuster knows your condition is on the list. There are over 250 conditions ranging from certain cancers to rare neurological disorders like ALS or even early onset Alzheimer's. You know, I know a lot of these that I just listed are pretty terminal and it's pretty dark, but that doesn't mean if you have other conditions that they're not going to be on that list. So you have to do your due diligence and making sure that you know exactly what your conditions are. Just that even if your name of the condition isn't on the list, sometimes the severity or a subtype of that condition is listed. So don't just assume that, well, you know, I got, I don't know, say you have severe chronic back injuries. One's they're going to think, well, that's nothing, you know, but what if it's caused nerve damage? What if it's caused other issues? So don't just assume that, you know, because it's not, you know, like a terminal type illness or condition that you're not going to be on that list. So go to the Social Security website and search Compassionate Allowances. Check the list. Here's a pro tip. When you file or in a letter to the adjudicator, use the exact phrasing, "My condition is listed under the Compassionate Allowances program." Don't make them guess, because they're not going to go out of their way. Remember, you're dealing with the government. They don't care about you or me or anybody else other than themselves, as we know. So the dire need request. This isn't about what your medical condition is. It's about how the wait is destroying your life. So what is a dire need? This is a formal request to expedite a case because the claimant is facing an immediate financial or life-threatening crisis. I mean, I know they've got this listed as one of the fast track ways, but I'm going to just say something. Most people that are filing for disability are pretty much on this dire need request. You know, most people are not just going to file disability because, well, just see if I can get a few extra bucks to supplement my millions of dollars that I've got. most people that's filing disability need it to pay their bills. Usually after an injury or a serious illness, it's financially devastating. Literally financial devastating. Unless you have someone else that's helping pay the bills, it can be kind of a stretch to your budget and whatnot. But, if you're on your own and that's the only income you have, and then now you can no longer work because of your illness or your injury, then, I find this as a dire need request. So by all means, if this is you, please file the dire need request, because you deserve to be put at the top, because they will bury your list, they will bury your file as far as they can go. Because again, these people aren't your friends, they're not your buddies, they are just people that's overworked, that a lot of them hate their jobs. I don't think I've ever dealt with anybody from Social Security that's ever been nice or forthcoming. They act like they're doing you a favor when in fact, they are government employees. They work for us. And they need to, there needs to be a severe, what's the word, like a complete rebuild. The whole system needs rebuilt. Like, start from ground zero with them, and realize that the people that they're dealing with, and the majority of people that are filing for disability, are doing so because they need it. Sure, you're always gonna have fraudulent claims. You're gonna have people that, may or may not be completely disabled. That's the way on anything. The majority of people that file for disability deserve their disability, and the amount of money that they pay is nothing. They throw money at these illegals, and they throw money at refugees and all these other foreigners that hate America. But yet the people that have built this country, that have worked their asses off for their entire lives and now need something just to pay a bill or two or keep the lights on, and they make it as hard as they can. I just find it just so un-American the way our system is. That's why I partially created this channel. I want people to know everything about this, on the fastest ways to get their assistance, tips and everything else, stuff that I've learned, because it's not right how our country treats everyday American citizens. It's just not right. They treat you like you're a piece of crap, criminal, like a fraudster. They treat everybody like you're trying to fraud them out of money. It's not frauding them out of money. It's fraud. It's trying to get money that is owed to you, that is your money anyway, money that you've paid into this. You've paid into this. This is not some EBT bullshit, where, the taxpayers are paying for you, because that's just not the case. And it's such bullshit. That's why I get so angry and passionate about this, because it's just not right how our government can treat American citizens. It's just not right. Anyway, so the dire need, most people, in my opinion, are going to fall on this. So you need to do your due diligence. If you have an attorney, if you hired an attorney, make sure that they are aware of this. A lot of attorneys don't know. They're going to look for the path of least resistance. The least amount of paperwork they have to do, the better. Because they're still going to get paid at the end of the day. They don't care. Again, an attorney, sure, they work for you, but, they've also got hundreds of other cases too that they're dealing with. So they don't have to get paid tomorrow or the next day or the next month. They've got a constant flow of money coming in, from cases being approved. That, I will say this, you're more than welcome to do what you want when you file disability. You can do the paperwork yourself. I, in my opinion, would advise against it. it's worth paying the extra few $1,000s that you're going to pay when you do get your disability approved and pay out of your back pay, because that's where they get the money from your back pay, and they can only take so much money. They've got that set by law that they can only take so much money. I can't remember the exact dollar amount, but it's not like an injury attorney. They can take 30% of your, your award. They can't do that. I think it's 25% up to $7,500. A lot of times you're going to get high 5-figure, low 6-figure back pay. I'm just saying, because the way the backlog is, like I said, it's well worth to hire an attorney. Let them do the paperwork. Let them do all of the stuff. Another thing that will help your case is having all your medical file, already pulled to give to whoever needs it, attorneys, paralegals, Social Security, anybody that needs it, get anything you can to minimize the work, even if they are getting paid to do that. Still, you want to get your disability as fast as you can, so you can go on and live in your life. But, the dire need requests, I keep getting sidetracked because I get so fired up about disability and how we screw, how our government screws American citizens every day. The dire need. I think most people fall into this category because most people that files disability is doing it because they need the money, because they had a job and now they can't work. Well, creditors don't give a crap. Utility companies don't give a crap. Rent, apartment, whatever, your landlord, they don't give a crap. Mortgage companies, they don't give a crap. They want their money. They don't care. So you need to get your money as soon as possible. And this is also a time where you have got to be very stern. If you're not one of those type that, are stern about things, this is the time to start getting stern. Because again, nobody is your friend here with the government. You need to let them know you can't afford basic nutrition. You can't even eat. You can't afford to get treatment. If you're going to the doctor, you're facing eviction, foreclosure, whatever, homelessness. Really spell it out. You got kids, whatever, you're taking care of a person that is disabled yourself, that needs your help. So now you've got two people, so you got to really put on the write it down, and it's not even lying, or not lying, but it's not even embellishing anything, because you're it's like, you need this money. You got to let them know that you need this money and you need it now. They need to fast track you. They'll say, well, we have so many cases. Well, so that's great. I need, although you may feel for them, that's fine, but that's not helping your situation. So you've really got to make your case on this. Write it out on a paper. Very articulate. Tell them everything. Get letters from your landlord or from creditors, whoever, saying that your services are going to be cut off. You're going to be kicked out. Whatever you have to do. Just make your case, because this can get you put to the front of the line. It happens every day. People that are in dire need of this are put to the front of the line, and a lot of people get their disability approved, and the next month they've got their benefits, rightfully so. Just write it. The dire need letter, you need to write a specific letter to the hearing office or the DDS, Disability Determination Services. That's who you write it out to. All this will be on the Social Security website, by the way. Evidence, obviously, as I said, evidence is paramount. You can't have enough evidence on there. Get everybody that like I said, creditors, landlords, employers, past employers, to sign something saying something that, hey, they owe me this money, and even though we are compassionate and we feel empathetic towards them, which they don't, we need our money. You can't just say that you're broke and expect them to move. We're all broke, right? I mean, even millionaires say they're broke. That's just a subjective term, but you got to really you got to really play it out. You know, put any type of notices you have, any late notices, any disconnect notices, anything with that letter, any evidence is going to help your case. You know, get a letter from the pharmacist saying, yeah, we have these medication that Mr. Joe Jones takes. It's X amount of dollars, and we can't just give them to him without, he needs to pay for them, and he doesn't have the funds to pay for them. His insurance won't pay for them, whatever, you know. Here's some the trap to avoid. Don't just complain about being stressed or you're struggling. Everyone waiting disability is stressed and struggling, you know. Use the words dire need in bold at the top of your letter. Dire need, DIRENEED, in bold at the very top. Beyond these two shortcuts, there's one shortcut that I can say that applies to everyone. It's called the medical source statement. Most people wait for the Social Security to get their records, right? Because that's what they do. They will get your records from your medical provider, you know, whoever that may be. If you can get your doctor to fill it out, you know, okay. It takes months to get your medical records. If the Social Security Administration has to get them, literally it will take them months to get them. You know, again, you have to understand they have hundreds of thousands of new claims every year. I think the average is around 700,000 to 800,000 every single year of brand new claims coming in. So the medical source statement, most people wait, you know, as I said, if you can get your doctor I had some notes here. If you can get your doctor to fill out a physical or mental residual functional capacity, RFC form, you submit that with your application. That's the adjuster's job. You're just doing it for them, which makes their job easier. Trust me, they will not mind. Your file moves a lot faster when you do this. This can literally take months off of your status. So watch channels like myself, because I'm always having new tips and shortcuts that work, that people every day use, that gets them to the front of the line. Not because they're line jumpers or anything like that. You got to remember, a lot of these people, you know, that have some of these illnesses, you know, they need the funds now. They don't have that long. I mean, and I don't mean to sound, I guess, dark or anything, because I don't. But, you know, someone that's got ALS, the Lou Gehrig's disease, I mean, that's a very fast illness, disease. And I had a friend of my dad's friend, and he was a police officer with, he was probably 10 years younger than my dad at the time, and he got that, and he was gone within 2 years. It's very fast, and it's a cruel, it's a horrible disease. So I'm very compassionate, super passionate about anybody that's got any of these types of horrible diseases or illnesses or injuries. because I know exactly what it's like. I do, and it sucks. And it sucks to have to go through that, let alone be jerked around by our own government that we've been so allegiant to our entire lives and so faithful to, and for them to pull the crap that they do, denial after denial after denial, and a lot of times that's just the way the system is. The system is designed to be like that. It's designed to make us like give up, you know. Say a lot of people get injured and they think they're disabled and they're not, or maybe their doctor said, well, you're not really totally disabled. You'll probably be fine after a year. Just you need to go physical therapy. And a lot of people don't want to hear it, so they file disability. Until your doctor tells you that you should probably file disability, then don't, because that's just going to really make matters worse, because you're just going to get denied, because they ask for, they will make sure that you are legitimately disabled. I'm sure there's people out there that's getting over on the system, so to speak, which again, it's not like you're becoming wealthy off of disability. I wouldn't know of anybody that'd ever want to just be on disability, just to be on it. It's no way to live. But it's there when you need it, and when you need it now, not 5 years from now, not 3 years from now, not 6 months from now. You need it today, tomorrow, ASAP, right? So I hope you all got some true value, real value out of this information that I've got here for you. Like I said, I'm always coming up with new information that I find off the internet, through other people that I know, just through the system itself, through my own experiences that I've gone through. Don't give up. I know it's tough. You just keep going. Find someone to talk to, a trusted friend or family member that's 100% there in your corner, and hang with them. Life's already hard enough, and then you get dealt this. I totally get it, because I've been there. So trust me, I definitely know what it's like. If you found this if you found this information helpful, do me a favor, hit the like button, please. It tells the algorithm that the information is actually helping people, and it helps us grow the community here at GenXperience. If you have successfully used the dire need request, or have a question about the CAL list, drop a comment below. I need as many as I can. I want to hear everybody's story. I'm Mike. Thanks for watching. Don't give up on your claim. You've earned these benefits, and you deserve to get them now. Not 3 years from now. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, all.